All right, I think we can get started. If more people are joining, then they can just, they'll join and we can continue to go on. So thank you everyone for joining. Good evening. Welcome to episode 23 of the Teen Talks. My name is Radhika and I've been organizing this series of talks to inform students about various career options, and this was mainly to help high school students like myself learn about different fields and different options that students have to choose, and it would help make a better choice for their futures. So I started this in 2020, and till now I have called various career professionals like physicists, a lawyer, an entrepreneur, a professional.
Thank you.
Kindly mute yourself so that the talk is uninterrupted. Yeah. So like I was saying, I started this series in 2020 in order to help students learn about the different options they have in the future. And I've called people like, I've called a physicist, I've called a lawyer, an entrepreneur, a professional in finance to help teach us about what it's like in that career. And it would help us to learn what to expect. Not only that, I've also been calling students to talk about different college applications process. So I've called students from Stanford, Ashoka University, Johns Hopkins, and many more. In continuation of that, today we have Bala Manikandan. He studied till 10th grade in Greenwood High ICSE and then went to DPS East for 11th and 12th grade. And he studied for IIT JE with the coaching center Fiji and is almost completing his bachelor's in engineering physics at IIT Roorkee. In today's session, you will learn about how Bala decided to pursue what he wanted to do and his preparation process for JE, what exactly engineering physics is, and life at IIT. So during the talk, you can ask any questions in the chat box, but we will also be having a Q&A session towards the end. So you could unmute and ask your questions then. And without any further delay, let's start. Over to you, Bala.
Yeah, thank you, Radhika. So good. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing great. So yeah, it's been such an honor to join Radhika on this episode of Teen Talks. So I'm definitely looking forward to share some of my insights with the audience. So let me share my screen first. Yeah, I hope the screen is visible now.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So yeah. My name is Bala Manikandan, or you can call me Bala, and I am about to finish my BTech in engineering physics from IIT Roorkee. So let me tell a little bit more about myself. Yeah, as Radhika mentioned, I completed my 10th grade from Greenwood High International School, Bangalore, which was ICC. And my 12th grade was done from Delhi Public School, Bangalore East, or DPS East, as it's better known. And this was a CBSE school. And currently, I'm just at the end of my BTech engineering physics degree in IIT Roorkee. I'm about to graduate. So, and in addition, I also recently got placed in a company called IITS Tokyo, which is a general insurance company, and my position is a technical executive. And the role is more or less software oriented. So yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about the subjects that I chose in high school. Of course, since I was pursuing engineering, I had to make appropriate subject choices. So quite naturally, I was I chose a science stream and related subjects. In 9th and 10th in ICSE, I had chosen science, physics, chemistry, and bio as one of my electives. Then math was another, and one. I also chose a subject called computer applications because I was also very much interested in programming. And my second language that I chose was French, but I mean, you can choose pretty much anything. It is not directly related to the core subjects. So then then in 11th and 12th, which was CBSE, I again opted for the science stream. And since I was preparing for engineering rather than medical, I had chosen to drop biology. So I took physics, chemistry, mathematics, and and my optional subject was informatics practices. So that is actually a subject that is quite similar in syllabus to computer science with some minor differences. So basically, if you see the subject choices in my 11th and 12th, it's very similar to what is known as PCMC, physics, chemistry, math, and computer science. So yeah, the reason why I had chosen to shift from ICSE to CBSE in 11th grade is because CBSE is said to be more aligned towards the competitive exams than other boards. So yeah, competitive exams mainly refer to JEE Main and JEE Advanced, as well as a few others. So, and since I was aiming into to get into an IIT, I decided to shift to CBSE. So yeah, now let me talk a little bit about my IIT coaching.
Actually, Bala, before that, I'll ask you some questions about your high school so that we could have a better flow of the talk.
Okay. Yeah.
So could you go to the previous slide just for reference?
Yes. This one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, I wanted to ask, you took informatics practices. Was this because in your school did they not have computer science, or it does the difference, like it doesn't make a difference, right, as to whether you choose computer science or IT?
Yeah, actually, I mean, I think this now actually the CBSE syllabus is kind of different. And now if I see informatics practices and computer science are almost the exact same syllabus with a few minor differences. In when I was studying, however, there was more of a difference. In computer science, the main difference was that in computer science, the language that we were learning was C++, and in informatics practices, the language that was taught was Java, and also I had previously learned Java in 9th and 10th. So to ensure a better flow, I decided to choose informatics practices rather than computer science.
Oh, all right. And I wanted to also ask you, so when you took science in 9th and 10th, was it more of a, it was more of a natural choice, right? Like, as opposed to somebody, because I think in 9th and 10th, most of us do take science, but in 11th and 12th, how did you become clear, like, you don't want to take biology, or how did you eliminate the other streams?
I mean, mostly I believe it was kind of related to my area of interest, and as well as the fact that there were some pretty good career opportunities that such subject choices would lead to in the future. I mean, I was not very much interested in going towards medicine, actually. But I enjoyed programming a lot. So that was the main reason why I decided to drop biology and pick up informatics practices. And and of course, science was of course one of my other main interests, as I would say. So that, as opposed to the other streams that were available in DPSEs, I decided science was probably the best and most suited for my career trajectory.
Yeah. 1 minute. Okay. Okay, yeah, thank you. So yeah, we could move on to the next slide, which was the JEE preparation.
Yeah. So yeah, let me talk a little bit about my JEE preparation or IIT coaching. So in fact, I was introduced to Fiji at a very early age. In fact, there are coaching institutes. Fiji is one of them, which offer IIT coaching even for very low grades, like middle school levels itself. But I mean, actually, the JEE syllabus starts only from 11th grade onwards. So while I joined Fiji in 7th and 8th grade, it was more out of interest rather than for the JEE preparation itself. I was just interested to learn more about about the things we were learning in school. And then I decided to take a break from Fiji in 9th and 10th, so I could focus on my 10th grade board exams. And then after my 10th grade boards, I joined Fiji again in my 11th and 12th grade. And as I mentioned earlier, the JEE syllabus was actually starting to get covered from this point onwards only. And yeah, and after my JEE coaching, I finally managed to clear the JEE Advanced in 2019 with an All India rank of 2,588.
Wow, that's amazing. And what was your did you actively choose Fiji because there was something that you liked about it, or how did you choose? Because there are many options of coaching centers as well. So how did you decide that you wanted to go with Fiji?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main reason why I had chosen Fiji was because because of my experience with Fiji in 7th and 8th. Because I believe I actually learned something new even in my 7th and 8th grade, even if it was not directly IIT JEE syllabus. So I think that was the main reason why I had chosen Fiji, because it was a place that I knew I had a rough idea how it would be already. So that was the main factor actually.
All right. And in 7th and 8th grade, was it more like just to learn as a supplement to school topics?
Yeah, more or less it felt kind of like that. There are many Olympiads which are held in school. One place where I found teaching helpful was actually in those Olympiads, because they always ask questions which are like one level higher than the school exams. So yeah, that's basically how it was in 7th and 8th.
All right. And could you, for any news, any younger audience that is out there, could you talk about how exactly, like, what is the system in India for engineering? Like, from a beginner's point of view, like somebody who doesn't know what exactly joint entrance exam is, could you just give a brief explanation about what it is and the system?
Okay, so yeah, I'll talk a little bit about what exams you need to write to, and what further steps are required to get into IIT basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first exam that you need to write to get in on your way to IIT is called JEE Main. So for JEE Main, the syllabus is more or less exactly the same as the 11th and 12th CBSE syllabus. But the questions they ask are kind of more one level higher than what they ask in the school exams. Like they combine multiple concepts from different chapters together and make a question out of that. Things of that nature. And it's all multiple choice questions with negative marking. Although I am aware that JEE Main has also introduced some numerical answer type questions also. You can read about this on the net anywhere. So now the JEE Main actually serves a dual purpose. The JEE Main rank that you get can be used for admission into certain other engineering colleges besides IITs, such as NITs and IIITs. But there's a cutoff rank that you need to, or a cutoff percentile or whatever, to clear the JEE main, and after that you qualify for the JEE advanced. So this is like the main the final exam you need to write to get into IIT. Then it's much more challenging as compared to the JEE main, and the syllabus is also much more vast. The base is basically the CBSE 11th and 12th grade syllabus as before, but then the concepts that are covered go like well over and above what is there in the NCERT textbooks. So and after JEE advanced you will get your rank, and based on, and you can always see the previous year cutoff ranks for different IITs in different branches, and based on your rank and those cutoffs, you can get a seat in any one of the top IITs through your JEE advanced.
Okay, thank you. And also, I think the major is also according to a cutoff, right? Like computer science would be much higher cutoff and things like that. All right. And also for you joined the Fiji in HSR, right? Yeah. So what was it like for the commute? Like, how was it something you wish you had like not done? Like, would you have wished to have taken a center which is close by to your house, or what are your feelings about that?
Yeah, travel time was a major barrier. I think I kind of felt, but then I think it was kind of outweighed by the fact that Fiji was kind of giving some specialized coaching to students who were kind of performing relatively better. They had like a separate batch for us actually, which I think was kind of nice. But yeah, traveling there was kind of challenging. I had to use public transport to travel long distances. It was a lot of effort actually, but and gained some lot of valuable experiences through this process. And I think in the end it all paid off, I believe.
Yeah, I agree actually. And apart from that, yes, there's this one question. How did you balance coaching center tests and the workload of the coaching center along with school?
Yeah, that is a very common question, I guess, in 11th and 12th grade. So yeah, mainly basically what I tried doing was that I felt that I decided to put more focus on the school school exams and things from school, because what I believed is that you could not master the more advanced concepts taught in coaching without fully understanding the concepts that are taught in school. But yeah, and I mean, but the syllabus of JEE is the main and advanced is pretty vast. So I mean, I did like the bare minimum of kind of attending the coaching classes at least as regularly as possible and sincerely taking notes. So the taking notes part, I think, was kind of important. I found them pretty useful when I was later on when I was preparing sincerely for the JEE. So yeah, in a nutshell, I believe at least in the initial stages, schools should kind of take priority. Once you're more familiar with the concepts, then then I think it is safe to proceed towards the JEE main and JEE advanced concepts that kind of happened like after they finished the portions entirely in 11th and 12th.
Okay, thank you for that advice. I think we can move on to the next slide.
Okay, so yeah, just some general tips that I think I found useful when preparing for JEE. So of course, the first major point is that you should start attending coaching classes from 11th grade onwards, because as I mentioned, the syllabus is like an extension of both the 11th and 12th grade CBSE syllabus. So So it becomes important that you start sincerely attending the classes from 11th grade itself, because if you start a little later, you might you have to catch up quite a lot, I believe. And as I mentioned earlier, try as much as possible to master the school level concepts before you go on to tackle JEE level questions, because without the fundamentals, you cannot go towards tougher problems, in my opinion. And also one last point is that 11th and 12th graders in the audience may have noticed this, both JEE and school exams, and 11th and 12th, and when I say school exams, I mean 11th and 12th CBSE exams in particular, they tend to focus more on numericals than theory. That was actually a major change that I experienced when I came from ICSE 10th to CBSE 11th. There was more emphasis on problem solving numerical questions more than the theory. So practicing problems at this stage is very important, especially in subjects like physics and math, because I mean, pretty much every chapter is only problems only. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I had in this presentation.
Yeah, so I'll be asking the questions now.
Okay.
Yes, so we covered the tips for JEE preparation, and I wanted to ask you to give us an overview of what engineering physics is. Like, obviously, the name does suggest it involves physics, but to what extent, and what it's like to study it, and the kind of career prospects that you might have with an engineering physics degree?
Yeah, so basically engineering physics is like a combination of physics and its applications in engineering, along with some mathematics and electronics related courses as well. So, so basically some of the careers, if you want, as far as your core is concerned, if you want a career in related to your engineering physics degree only, then mostly I think mostly what I've seen is that my batchmates pursue research or higher studies in physics itself. So if you're interested in that, you can go take this degree. But you can also get a non-core job from even if you study this degree, at least in an IIT. Because the companies that come for placements are generally open for all branches. So you can get a job as a software developer or as a data scientist, provided you pick up the necessary skills on your own. Yeah,
All right. And so when you got into IIT, how did you decide that you wanted to do engineering physics?
So yeah, after my course, I had got a very good JEE advanced rank, no doubt. But but if you consider only the top 7 IITs, which are the so-called old IITs, the original IITs, not the newer ones which got established much later. You consider only those, then subjects like computer science or electronics have very high JEE advanced cutoff ranks. I mean, you might need a cutoff of less than 1,000 to get into some of these branches. So, I mean, I just decided to research on my other possible options, given my rank. So, in addition to the conventional branches like civil, chemical, etc., I found out about engineering physics, and I read about what it was, and I figured out that I actually had a secondary interest in physics also. So and in addition, my the cutoff ranks were quite similar to the rank that I had got. So that basically led to my selection in IIT Roorkee engineering physics.
Okay. Yeah, and I think this is like a I don't know if it's a misconception, but could you clear it whether whether it's flexible to change what you've decided to study in any engineering college?
Yeah. I mean, see, uh, as such a major, the only way you can change your major as such in an IIT that is like in the first year only. Like there's in some IITs, it's known as branch change. In some IITs, I observed that branch change is done at the end of the second semester. But in case of IIT Roorkee, it was done at the end of the first semester itself. If you want to change your branch from what you got allotted through counseling, that then you can apply for branch change. So yeah, of course, the requirement, there will be a certain CGPA cutoff. Like you need to have a really good CGPA in the first semester itself if you want to get into computer science. The cutoff is a little bit lower for electronics, a little bit lower for electrical, and so on and so forth. So if you do succeed, then you can change your major. But even if you don't do that, the second option is to take a minor specialization in some other department in the middle of your third year. So what that means is that you take 5 courses from another department in addition to the other courses you have. And once you complete those courses, you will get minor specialization in the other department.
Okay, thank you. And I also wanted to ask, since you're almost done with your 4th year, could you talk about what happens next? Like, not once somebody finishes their undergraduate degree, what are their options? Like, you got a placement, but some people might go for masters. So what is it like?
Yeah, so obviously, some people prefer to work for some time. So they were sitting in campus placements, and many of us have got good offers. And then of course you could go for higher studies. And in physics, and for engineering physics students, I have observed some of my batchmates are planning to do higher studies in physics itself. And yeah, of course, if you want to get, of course, for some of these, in some cases, you might need to write some exams. Like if you want to do it, yeah. So yeah, I think that's pretty much really.
All right. And the next topic that I wanted to ask you questions on is about how was college life for you? How was life in an IIT?
Yeah. So yeah, definitely a very good experience. Although I mean, 2 years of the college life was done from my home because of the pandemic, unfortunately. But still, I think the other 2 years were quite yeah, I enjoyed it really. So yeah, one thing, the campus is pretty. The IIT Roorkee campus, at least, is pretty big, and you might it's necessary to get a cycle to go from one place to another in the campus most of the time. And yeah, there's also a library in our campus. That's like the go-to spot. It mostly, if you want to study anything, it gets kind of crowded during the exam times in particular. So, and yeah, and of course, IIT has a lot of sports facilities. Also, I think like many sports are offered. Like any sport you can think of, it will be there in IIT Roorkee, I guess. So then, yeah. And another thing is that there's an abundance of clubs or campus groups, as they're better known, both technical and non-technical. And the nice thing about them is that they're all of these clubs are entirely student-run. So, so while the technical groups tend to impart some technical knowledge beyond the scope of the college courses, the non-technical ones are, as the names include things like music section uh, and, and audio section. There's a choreography and dance section also, in fact, in IIT Roorkee. So yeah, so overall, I think it was a pretty memorable experience at IIT Roorkee.
Yeah, I'm sure. And this is the last question from my side, but what would be your advice to high school students, both the like ones junior to me, like 9th and 10th, and the ones who are aiming to write JEE?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, the most important thing is like you should, if you want to get into an IIT, you should definitely put in enough hard work and effort. I mean, it will be a challenging journey, no doubt. But yeah, if you're motivated and you towards getting into an IIT, then definitely you'll succeed. And make sure that you follow some of the guidelines that I gave, and yeah, and also after you get into IIT, it's not, you have to still kind of keep working hard. It's not like once you clear the JEE advanced, your career is set or anything like that. You need to it's actually more competitive once you get into an IIT. You still need to put in hard work and effort to maintain a good CGPA. So,
Yeah. So thank you. And does anyone have any questions? You can ask it directly, or you can drop it in the chat box. So Pranav wants to know how you managed your time between coaching and school for all 3 subjects.
Actually, that was kind of challenging. I think, as I said, it's like I did not. I mean, it's as far as coaching was concerned, I did not. I try not to put too much of emphasis on it while I was seriously attending the coaching classes and taking notes. I mean, I didn't want to put too much of emphasis on that because I needed to master my school level concepts first. And sometimes I understand it gets kind of confusing when coaching they're teaching one concept and in a school they're teaching another concept. But that is actually just a temporary effect, really, because at the end of the year it will all kind of level out. Everything will be covered in both school and in coaching. So basically, I think it suffices to focus more on a school for at least while the coaching is going on, and then once everything gets finished, then I think you should be familiar with all the school level concepts. So then I think it should be safe to venture into more advanced things.
So what do you think about the students who join like Allen integrated or an integrated course? Like they're only attending the coaching class, they don't have the school. Like what would be your advice for students who've opted for that option? Because they don't have to focus on school, it's only coaching.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot relate to much because I have not been in that integrated system. So yeah, I mean, if there's only coaching, then it's like I think there is only one thing to focus on. But again, the same rule applies. Try to understand the basic concepts, the school level concepts, before you proceed to more advanced questions. I think they may have a tendency to jump into more advanced things quickly in integrated programs. I'm not sure, but yeah, that is all I want to say.
All right, thank you. And Medha wants to know what CBSE school you attended in 11th and 12th, and do you think it matters?
Yeah, so my CBSE school in 11th and 12th was Delhi Public School, Bangalore East, or TPS East as it's better known. And as far as this, I mean, I don't know. I think the school choice, it might make a small difference. I mean, at least in terms of like how how teaching is and things like that. I mean, it kind of depends on that really. you might, depending on your school, you might need to put more effort or less effort from your side to do the to learn the 11th and 12th grade concepts. I believe. I think that's pretty much the major thing.
Okay. Medha, I hope that answered your question. And Neil wants to know, does the board of the school affect your chances to get into an IIT?
Not that I am aware of actually. I mean, I don't think that becomes a criterion when applying to the institute in the end. But syllabus wise, I think it would make a difference. I mean, as I said, CBSE is more aligned towards the competitive exams already. So if you do take CBSE, then it might give you it might be more aligned towards your competitive exam preparation as well.
Yeah, actually, I also wanted to add. So what I've heard from my friends is that CBSE and ISC are more aligned to the Indian system. So, but I don't know about international boards because the workload of that will be, and the approach of learning and testing there is a lot more different. So it's about whether if how you can handle things, I guess. And does anyone have any more questions? You can even ask Bala directly. Is there anything else you would like to add, Bala, like any last thoughts or any advice?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I think that, yeah, what I said previously about it, like you have to, it's not an easy path, and you have to be, yeah, you should be motivated to get it into your get into IIT. And yeah, one more point is that, of course, if you don't get into an IIT after your hard work, do not feel bad, because there are like a lot of other good engineering institutes. I mean, I talked about institutes like NIT and IIIT when I was discussing about JEE Main. Those will be kind of like your fallback options if you don't get into an IIT. So yeah, work hard, but don't get disheartened if you don't get into an IIT at the end.
Okay. Pranav is raising his hand.
So you mentioned a lot of times that you have to focus on the school level concepts and everything. So after doing that, how did you start preparing only for JEE? Like, what did you do to prepare only for JEE and the types of questions they give in the JEE mains or advanced?
Yeah, I think I should talk a little bit more about this too. So yeah, after I got my school level concepts thorough, then I was in a good position to look at JEE main. So yeah, obviously, I think the best resource would be to look at some previous years JEE main and JEE advanced questions. And yeah, if you work out like the questions topic wise, then you can figure out what kinds of questions are typically asked and get more comfortable with the pattern. And yeah, so for both JEE main and JEE advanced, it's also a good idea to attempt a few full-length papers on your own, so that will give you an idea of how the time constraint will be in the final exam. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Actually, how was the timeline for you when you did the preparation? Like, school is there, and like once 11th grade got over, like you would focus on school. So when did you get the time to devote a lot, like more fully to JEE, like 100%? Was it in the summer vacations or holidays? When was it?
I mean, even in my 11th grade, summer vacation coaching was still going on actually. So, I mean, that time at least you can say I was a little bit more oriented towards coaching because school was not going on. But then, yeah, I believe that a lot of my preparation kind of happened after the school portions got done in October or November itself, the 12th grade portions typically get finished, and then the pre-boards will start. So that point is like when you feel more in control of things because they're not teaching anything new. So that becomes a really good time to get things in place. And I was already familiar with the school concept, so that was so. From that point onwards, I could look more at JEE main oriented questions and JEE advanced oriented questions.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? And also, I wanted to know, so how was your 12th grade board preparation along with this?
Yeah, so I mean 12th, I mean what for my 12th grade board, I think, yeah, that was, I mean, once they finished the 12th grade syllabus, of course, I still had to prepare for 12th grade boards. But yeah, again, it's like it helps to be sincere in class and at least understanding what's going on. And so yeah, that kind of helped in my when I was studying those chapters for 12th grade. So yeah, of course, I had to do that before I moved on to JEE main syllabus. So yeah, so that's what I had to first do. I had to first tackle that and do only NCERT stuff and then move on to JEE.
Okay, so well, when you wrote JEE, was the board like 75%? Like, I think recently they have announced that you need to have a certain board percentage to be able to write the exam, but did you have that?
I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm not wrong. Only during I think during IIT admissions process, I think after I cleared JEE Advanced and all that, I think they did ask for my 12th grade board percentage, and I think that does play a role. I forgot what the exact cutoff was, but anyway, my 12th grade board marks were really good, so I didn't have any problem there.
Okay, so you managed your time pretty well then, like you did well in both the entrance exam and the board exam, even though their system of asking questions is very different, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like I mean, ultimately, the questions are different, no doubt, but fundamentally, it's kind of like the same concepts or the extensions of the same concepts that I use. That's what I try utilizing to my advantage when preparing for all these exams.
Yeah. And Neil has a question. Is the IB board better for IITs or colleges outside of India?
So yeah, actually, I'm not too familiar with the IB board, but yeah, I have also heard that it's like more aligned to more like an international system of education rather than an Indian one. So yeah, I guess maybe the IB board should be more suited to colleges outside of India. As I said, if you want to get into an IIT, then CBSE is probably the best.
Okay, actually, so Neil, I've organized many talks, and in that I have had IB students, ISC students, which is like the 11th and 12th of ICSE, and I've had IB students. So if you want, I can send you the recordings of these sessions. And actually, IB board is designed for colleges abroad, and I don't know, I haven't really met anyone who has prepared for entrance exams in India with IB board, but IB is known for having being something that is quite a lot, so it's like its own workload. So maybe you can watch those sessions and learn about that. But I think CBSE and Indian boards are better for IITs and entrance exams like NEET and KCET. Oh yeah, one of my questions was, could you talk about the different other engineering entrance exams? Like there's IIT, there's a JEE Mains, JEE Advanced, but there's also Karnataka Common Entrance Test and things like that. Could you talk about those?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I did not write the KCET, and actually, I don't know much about that. But yeah, and there are some other entrance exams. One is called BitSat if you want to get into bits. So that yeah, that also kind of I believe it's the syllabus is based on the 11th CBSE 11th and 12th grade syllabus, but I think the questions are a little bit easier than in JEE Main, at least at the time when I wrote it. Then I believe, I mean, if you want to get into pure science, actually rather than engineering, there's another, if you want to get into IASC in particular, there's another exam called KVPY. In that, the thing with that is that you need, I believe, I'm not sure if math is there in KVPY, but I think you need to prepare physics, chemistry, and biology. So I guess if you're preparing for that, maybe you should be choosing biology as one of your subjects in 11th grade. So, yeah. Other than that, I don't think yeah, there's one more for VIT, there's also an entrance exam, VIT EEE, and that also, I think it's kind of related to 11th and 12th grade CBSE syllabus. But yeah, of course, I believe JEE Advanced is by far like the most difficult among all of them.
Yeah, actually, I think KVPY has been discontinued. So
okay, yeah, I guess that might have been, yeah, at least it was around when I was there. So.
yeah. All right. So I was just going to take out the link of the YouTube channel of the Teen Talks. So we have a lot of recordings of previous sessions, and this session is also being recorded. So you can join the group that is there. Kindly message me with your phone number if you want to be added. In that, we send information for all of the future Teen Talks, and there's also a lot of the links of the videos. And does anybody have any last questions for Bala? I just sent the YouTube channel link. So there are multiple videos of past sessions. So go check it out. And with that, if nobody has any more questions, we'll conclude. So thank you so much, Bala, for taking the time out to do this session for us. I learned a lot today, and I hope that everyone who joined in today found this session valuable. Thank you for joining on this Friday evening. And again, I appreciate Bala taking out his time. All the best to you. And thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Bala. Thank you for attending, everybody. Good night.